If Mr. King is okay with that.
You let me do it yesterday.
Yeah. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, so we today are going to talk about the roles and responsibilities of different groups when we're talking about a free enterprise economy. And remember, free enterprises, what is happening, is what we have here in America. So we get a glance, you guys, there's the chapter 3 organizers in there. That's all I'm asking you to work on from yesterday until Wednesday, because we have the test that's coming up on Thursday. So remember, I think most of you know that you'll get formative credits for doing that. So, and plus it's going to really help you prepare for the test. I'm hoping to have a Kahoot or Pear Deck, or actually for this class, Ms. Zaster actually came up with a Jeopardy. So we're going to do something after our lesson tomorrow to review for the test. So just know that it would be a really good idea to be here tomorrow and we can review together. And then on Thursday, we're doing the Unit 1 exam. That's chapters 1, 2, and 3. You can use any resource you have available. I'm going to be open all during class on Thursday to answer questions or things like that. So Jess, if you do want the test read to you, it might be a good idea to come in either tomorrow or Thursday. Well, tomorrow, Thursday, or even Friday, and then I can read the test to you. But I don't know if I'll have the test. I might have the test ready by tomorrow, so we could do it sometime tomorrow afternoon. And then Friday's just a work day. So, Joe, you're missing a few things, so I can look at what you're missing and make sure that you have a list so that you can get caught up, okay?
All right, that sounds good.
Okay. Okay, so this is something that would be great if you guys could respond to. So looking at some pictures of the square, and I know some of these are older because a few of these places are gone now, but suppose another Chinese restaurant opened up on the square. What do you think would happen to Chopsticks? Any ideas?
They would lose some of their customers or something, and they might get shut down depending on how much they make or how much people leave.
Absolutely, that's a really good answer, Jessica, because that could be what happens. I mean, Chopsticks has competition now. There's no other Chinese places in Monroe since that World Buffet closed. So people might go to this new restaurant, check it out. And that would happen with any new restaurant probably, but people that really like Chinese, they're going to have to choose now. Do they like Chopsticks better, or do they like the new place better? Chopsticks might also have to run some specials or do some things to help get people in. So now they might have to lower their prices a little bit so that you're bringing in some new customers. As a consumer, do you like having lots of options for eating downtown or even in Monroe in general? Is it nice to have some choice?
Yeah, because you don't want to eat the same thing every time you go out to eat.
Yeah, absolutely.
They should probably open a little bit more restaurants here.
Yeah, I agree. I do know that there have been restaurants that have failed in Monroe on the square, and there have been some, like Ponchos and Lefties is actually a newer restaurant, and they're successful. So people need to figure out what they're doing right, and the Northsider's been there now for a while too. What are they doing right that they're staying open, and yet some places that have opened on the square have closed within a year? For example, there was a vegetarian restaurant on the square called the Black Walnut. Did you guys ever go to that one?
My sister went.
Your sister went? Okay. It was really good, but what do you think maybe was a problem with having a vegetarian place in Monroe?
Not a lot of vegetarians, just my sister.
Yeah, not a ton of vegetarians in town. Even though the food there was plenty to enjoy without being a vegetarian. I don't think they appealed to enough customers to keep them going. So there's a lot that goes into if a business is going to be successful or not. And you as consumers are part of that success rate. All right. So entrepreneurs. So entrepreneurs are those people that take the chance and they start new businesses. This is really important to see. Most entrepreneurs fail. So most new businesses don't succeed for longer than small businesses, than a few years. However, successful entrepreneurs attract other firms, eventually lead to new products, greater competition, production, higher quality, and lower prices. So even though most entrepreneurs are going to fail, it doesn't mean that they're going to fail every time. A lot of times what happens is the same entrepreneur might start different businesses and fail and fail and fail, but then eventually they get to something that sticks. They get to something that's going to work. So that's the thing to know, that even though when you look at the number of businesses that fail, it doesn't necessarily mean that a person's always going to be a failure. They move on to things, they learn things, and they create things that they realize that people want from a failed business, so that they make something better for the consumer. And the video online is just a lady talking about her experience starting a new business. So if you want to watch that, it's in your book, and the online book. Okay, so you guys are consumers, and you guys ultimately determine what to produce. That's one of the questions. Remember, there's those 3 questions. You as a consumer help drive what we have in our market. So consumer sovereignty reflects the idea that consumers rule the market, meaning that as individuals in this free market economy, here in Monroe, if you don't like a restaurant, you don't go to it, it's not going to stay. So people that are starting a new restaurant need to understand that they have to produce things that people in Monroe want to eat in order for them to be successful. You guys are all important, because what you spend money on helps determine what is and is not produced. So just like you guys mentioned, and I think you guys did a very nice job saying that, if you don't like what they're supplying, a restaurant's going to go out of business, or something, a business will go out of business. I'm just trying to think of any other like stores or things that have gone out of business on the square. A lot of the things are sticking now. I think people are starting to figure out what people like and what they don't like. Okay, so consumers in the United States. So this is also something that's in your online book, but we don't know what these people are standing in line for. You can see the gates here. But it does say that they're lining up to buy something. And honestly, that has actually happened, like when the new iPhone comes out. Probably not in a town the size of Monroe, but in big cities, it's not like they can just walk over to US Cellular or, go over to Fuzzies or Radio Shack and get their new iPhone. A lot of times there's a huge demand and there's not enough supply. So they have to wait in line if they want to get it. If you guys see here, people vote with their dollars. And they do this by actually buying products or investing time in getting them. Right now, I've heard the new thing is the Xbox. Is it the Xbox 5? Have you guys heard about this? A bunch of trucks that are carrying the Xbox 5 have actually been like targeted, and people are stealing from them. Sorry, I just got a snap from a student. Just 1 second. Oh, hold on, guys. I just have to send a snap back. Okay. So the role of consumer is important, because consumers drive the market and basically help the market decide what to produce and how much of it. The government, their role, they have several roles. So first of all, protector. The government protects citizens by things like making sure false advertising isn't occurring. The Food and Drug Administration makes sure food is safe. Basically, there are regulations in place that were asked for by the people to make sure that the products that people are producing are safe. The government is also a provider of goods and services, and that includes education, highways, public welfare, and many other things. So they're still in that marketplace, providing things that people in the nation need. They're regulators, meaning that they regulate economic activity. And one of the things this comes from is monopolies. Back in the early 1900s, there were monopolies of certain products. And so whoever owned those products could charge whatever they want because people didn't have anyone else to go to. So I always use the example of like Charter in Monroe. If you want super fast internet, the fastest one you can get in town is Charter. TDS does a pretty nice job if you live in town, but they're not great if you don't live in town or don't get their highest plans. So Charter can charge whatever they want because they have kind of a monopoly in Monroe with internet, fast internet. And then lastly, the government is also consumer. The government spends more on all private businesses combined. So the government buys a lot of things from local small businesses as well as large businesses. When you think about even the school district, we go to like Heartland Graphics when we need t-shirts for kids or teachers. We look at when we are doing renovations or something in the school. We get bids from local contractors. So the government works as a consumer too, in that they are also purchasing things. Does that all make sense? I know that was a lot for one slide. Oops. Okay, just one more. So mixed or modified free enterprises. In a mixed or modified free enterprise, people and businesses carry out the economic affairs freely, but are subject to some government intervention and regulation. And I have this picture of the jungle. I don't know if you guys remember U.S. history. We talk about this book, The Jungle, and how it talked about the meat packing industry and how unsafe it was. And like people would lose their fingers and those fingers would end up in meat that went out to the people. And there were no regulations on the meat itself. So it might be spoiled by the time it got to consumers and people will get sick. So the government involvement is that second bullet point is necessary. How much of it, could be up for debate, but we certainly need some government to regulate things in order to keep our market free, in order to keep it safe, and in order to provide everything that the people in our nation need. And America will be a mixed or modified free enterprise economy as long as the people want it. As a democracy, we could say, nope, we want the government to take control of everything, but in our economy, that's most likely never going to happen. All right. So, did you guys have any questions?